Welcome back to Season 6 of Time to Change.
We have some amazing conversations lined up from people doing the work. I'm excited for those and the change that it'll hopefully spark.
I can't wait to jump in. So let's get started. Welcome back to Time to Change. I'm Chasen Forehand.
I'm Dom Jones.
We today have Nicole Angai-Galindo. You may know her as the Gifted Bipolar Writer or Guiding Brilliant Writers Publishing. And she is with her author, Jack Torrance, in the house. This guy right here, the author of The Silent Canvas. What an incredible book. My wife is telling me, finish it now so I can have my chance at it. So thank you guys both for being here with us this evening. And I can't wait to dive in. So Jack, first things first, what's the big picture goal for your books? And what was the vision that you had here?
Yeah, great. Well, first, Jason and Dom, thank you so much for having me. It's a real honor and privilege to be here. And it's a very interesting question. You know, when I set out to write this book, really is kind of a saga. You know, it goes back many years. It starts with my love of psychology and my major of psychology in college. And what I look to do is build a story around a very compelling protagonist antagonist where their characters were not only very deep and rich in complexity, but also they mirrored each other in very psychologically twisted and eerie ways. So that was my main goal for this book. And in general, big picture, I want to leave the reader insatiably wanting more, wanting to consume more, and also left with, wow, that was an incredible read. I'm so satisfied, and yet I'm a bit mind scrambled. What the hell just did I read?
I can only imagine. I've always started, so I'm telling you, you've done a great job. You've done a great job with that, Nick. I know when you first started talking to Jack, you had not been in this realm from a publishing standpoint. But how did you feel, and how did you? What did reading the manuscript do for you?
Oh boy, well, thanks so much, guys, for having me on, first of all. And yes, I will say on the last year and a half or so with my publishing journey, they've been mainly motivational, inspirational anthologies. This was a solo author with, a thriller genre, something I've not worked with before. So, we got to talking. I'm like, nice guy, nice, And so I pull up this manuscript now and I start reading it. And I'm like, I don't know if my mind is blown, if I'm like thinking to myself, okay, Nick, maybe you should read this in the day. I know it's like the end of the day. You're reading this is starting to get dark out right now. But again, it pulled me right back to my Stephen King days. There was a time that I was very much into those types of books, and it's been a little bit now, but it reminded me just how entertaining and how lost you can get in a twisting plot, a very well written, easy to understand story. And at the end of the day, I think that, books for us is an escape, stories are an escape. And well, yes, I lost myself. Almost didn't make it back, but I made it back in time to publish the book.
Awesome. Well, before Dom asks his question, I have to take this moment to say right above Dom's left shoulder. Very good, Dom. Scan that QR code. It'll take you to get your own copy of the book. We'll talk about this as we go more about that QR code, and we'll put all the links in the chat and in all of the posts. But make sure you get your copy. Absolutely fantastic. Take it away, Dom.
Yeah, happy to. And so for all those folks who are going to scan that code, without giving too much away, Jack, I'd love if you can just expound on what are people going to experience when they open up this book. Maybe tell a little bit about the theme and what it's about.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you're going to experience a character that is a mastermind in manipulation, control, the seen and the unknown. The protagonist, she is a very broken and vulnerable person. And she, because of this man that comes into her life, she starts to trust and love again. But then he's just weaving this incredible trap, this incredible web, and she doesn't know it, but he is going to ultimately destroy her in more ways than one. And so there's many psychological factors, conditions that happen here. And it gets even deeply philosophical with, say, the inescapability of fate. Just that as a reader, you could look at it psychologically, supernaturally, philosophically, ethically, and in every way, it's a horrific experience.
Wow.
And
Go ahead, Dom. Sorry.
I was just gonna in a book like this, you're touching on some of the deep and often dark areas of our humanity.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned, Jack, you have a background in psychology, and I'm just curious, how did you approach writing something like this that could be so unsettling just to the human experience?
Well, I have a dual degree in psychology and philosophy. And so my philosophy side is always challenging what we see, what we hear. There's often a false narrative in life itself. And life is full of bittersweet contradiction. And then when you add psychological and when you add supernatural, which many of us do have a spiritual side, it can be an incredibly dark and deep, shadowy place for the mind to be. And so I wrote this with all of those in mind, that how can I make this beyond a jump scare, a gore, horror, typical type of read, so that the reader really is forced to think. And this could happen to anyone. That's what makes it so terrifying, is that it's not the ghost or the monster that we think of in horror. It's actually really quite mundane in the neighbor next door who we know nothing about, that actually is possibly out to kill you or to make your life hell. And so from that standpoint, I think it can resonate with everyone.
What do you want the readers to take away from your book?
Well, I want them to take away, first and foremost, that one, it's not done, because there is going to be two more books, and they will be left hanging after the end of the silent canvas, and that's by design. And I think when the, I know I'm biased, but if you read the book, I genuinely think you'll get hooked. You will fall in love in all of their flaws with these characters. You will identify in some weird, dark way with both of them, and you will be very upset or disappointed when the last page and you feel like you have to say goodbye. But the beauty is you get to say hello all over when the next book comes out here shortly. That said, what I want the reader to really feel is not just the dread and not just the sorrow, but truly, I want them to feel almost an inescapable invasion of the words. And I want them to feel, oh my goodness, this really is truly sinister.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
chasing. I don't know if y'all know, chasing scares pretty easy, and so I don't know. I don't know if it's for
he
you.
does. He does.
Oh my
He's a big
God,
baby.
that's hilarious.
He's a big baby at heart. I'm gonna just tell you. So I've been reading it during the day though, so that's all good.
I was just gonna say, lights on, Jason, lights on. Maybe
Right.
first thing in the morning with your cup of coffee.
There we go. There we go. Make sure you scan that QR code. Make sure you get your copy of this today. We have been talking to Nicole Angai-Galindo. She is the Gifted Bipolar Writer and the Guiding Brilliant Writers publisher of this amazing book by Jack Torrance. There's going to be 3. Is that right, Jack?
That is correct.
This
trilogy.
is first of 3 in the trilogy. You're going to want to make sure you get all 3 copies. And we can't thank you guys enough for being here today. Thank you for scaring us. Thank you for thrilling us. Thank you for wanting us to come back. We can't wait. We'll have you back on and talk about book 2. And you have been on Time to Change. I'm Chasen Forehand.
And I'm Dom Jones.
Thanks for coming, and we will see you again next time.